something. A whirlwind may not be the best because you trigger Shadow Steel, but some way if you could get some sort of monkey down, something, anything to just get the remaining 3 mana, because now your opponent, you've managed to sort of stabilize this board here. Okay, Guaprin's good. You are gonna get cracked for 12. Oh, the bug and the eagle, they both can attack. So maybe if I'm Big C, I'm not even thinking about trying to go face here. You need to stabilize the board. He does the right thing. That's what I would do. Take out the Shadow Steel. Now you're facing a crack for 2, dropping you to 28. You do lose some of the value that your Gua Prince represents there. The Gua Prince will die to that Eaglon with the Baba, and I can understand maybe the slight consideration for letting your opponent or attacking your opponent's face there, and you get to keep your Eaglon. But I think in this phase of the game, is playing cards like he's playing the Baba and some of these other cards that maybe don't match one for one as well with what Big C is doing, and maybe that is enough to make me say that I am willing to play the long game. Big C dropping the Uga Chief there, takes out Lumi. Lumi, of course, blessed the Eaglon. That is why the Jello was off the battlefield. And there's Obsidiwing, so a very powerful 8/5 on this battlefield. Monkey able to take the Chief down, and then follows it up with a Hydrofang with a Vortex for 4. Now 9 for Big C, taking a look, 3 in hand. We're seeing an odd play there as the pillar attacks the wing for 1. That can sometimes indicate something like, oh, it was just to draw that greed. I thought there might be some sort of shenanigans involved with Gua Prince, which would put the wing into the retribution range, but instead we just see the double greed here. So this is the kind of turn that you want to take when you're Bay, but now on 7 mana you must answer both your opponent's threats. Instead, Snowgaze comes down. That's not good enough. You will be able to answer them next turn, but this one turn where your opponent's attacking you for 13 here, dropping you to 13. Although we did see him survive a scare from Bay last game, after he wore Bay down and out of cards, I'm very hesitant as a player to rely on that. That being said, if I do see the opportunity to force my opponent to attack my Snowgaze, then I'm going to take that all day, every day. And of course, we remembered that he had the Imperious in hand from the Eaglon. That is now going to take a long walk off a short pier. Gua Prince shows it the way through the pond, out into the graveyard, lurking just beyond. And there we see 4 mana for the Uga Chief. Bay starting to turn the corner. The last thing that Bay did, Big C is starting to turn the corner. The last thing that Bay did was play Imperious. So if the best card in your hand was a 6 mana 7/9 do nothing, and now your opponent is playing Uga, Shadowsteel, Speedy, yes, it's possible that maybe you're sandbagging something like a Stonefur, but I don't see that. Instead, it was the Baba that was being sandbagged, and that's an attack for 9. Sorry, an attack for 11. But Shadowsteel and Speedy can take that Uga Chief out. Now Big C has 3 in hand, and he is playing the Bloom Blast combo. So although he's at 7, he does have the ability to go up to 11. We're taking a moment now to consider the attack to the face. Not sure if I like that. I would recommend the player attack that Baba down. There's just so many cards, like for example, another Baba that could come into play and cause complications if you're Big C. But Big C is navigating these. Oh, there. I was gonna say maybe he's plans to attack the Baba with Speedy, but instead just passes, leaves that 1 mana. I don't love it, but there it is. That's lethal. If you attack your opponent, it still would be very close to lethal anyway. But we do see that the exact situation that Big C was worried about there materialized. Bay ripped a Uga Chief off the top of his deck. Had Big C taken down that Baba, that would have left Big C at one life. And of course, there's a high likelihood that Bay still wins that game. So we're not trying to say that was the a place where Big C missed a win or anything like this, because many games, even if he kills the Baba, he still ends up losing that round. But that is what happened, and that did produce a lethal attack. Now we see Bay and Sero moving on. This was a very exciting matchup, and we are excited to get into that coverage. But before we do, just want to take a quick moment for a stream plug. This is ChampionsTCG. Thank you all for tuning in with us. We are live at discord.gg/ChampionsTCG. Cards are for sale, available on the website, championstcg.com/shop. And you can also check out the game yourself. Come to championstcg.com. We are live on Twitch, twitch.tv/ChampionsTCG. And Facebook, facebook.com/ChampionsTCG. All right, now that we have gotten our plugs in, let's take a moment. Players are taking a quick second before joining into this semifinals game. We do want to update you on the rest of the round. The rest of the round showed that Brodnik was able to get into a semifinals matchup against Baby Hands. Brodnik took it down 2-1 to move on to the finals. And there, Brodnik will play the winner of this matchup that we are just tuning into right now, with Sero versus Bay. And again, my name is Brett Banfi. I am your host, Manifestable. Follow me on twitch.tv/Manifestable. And we are bringing you live game action. Try to do this. We host a tournament every single day, $50 free events. So if you are new to ChampionsTCG, you want to learn how to play the game, go on, join that Discord, follow us on X, follow us on socials, reach out to me directly, Manifestable. I'll help you get started. Ping me on Discord, and we will help you join your first event. We also do host weekend events. They are $500 weekend events. Free rolls again, so you don't need to pay any money to enter those tournaments. You also don't need to own any of our cards to play in some of our events. Like, for example, this event you're watching right now. These are all free to play with free cards. So all of the cards are provided by the platform, and you just have to make your decisions and navigate them to the best of your ability as a player. We want to make sure that the players that are winning these events, they are rising to the top because of their skills, not necessarily because they have the money to afford the best deck. So that's why a lot of times we are hosting these events in the free play mode. And players still taking one more moment to get ready for this semifinals action. So we are going to instead just tune you into our leaderboard here. This is the Gen 2 leaderboard. We see that we have several players who have earned a 1300 ELO rating, and we can also show you the combined Gen 1, Gen 2 format, where we see a little bit fewer amount of people who are able to get these games in, because the Gen 1 cards are a little harder to come by. But those that do really enjoy this format, that's why we are playing this for our free daily event today. All right, and now let's take a second, check back in to our play zone. Still waiting here on Sero and Bay. It looks like Bay just joined the table, and now we will have a moment to join that tournament action in just a second. All right. right, and looks like game just started. There is a slight delay in the game, in the opening of that game, as one of our players is tuning in from Japan, where it is quite late in the evening for him. So apologies for that. But here we go. We are loading this game up, and I believe we are going to be tuning into Zero on the 3-mana turn here. It is Zero with 3 mana. There is the evolution from Uga into the Uga Chief. That takes out Dracora. That Bay is the top of the screen, Zero at bottom of the screen. Now we're jumping in Zero on 4 mana here. That was a very big turn from Bay. Likely what happened was we saw a Nature Egg. We missed those first 2 turns, but Nature Egg into Uga Chief makes sense to me. We also saw the White Lily deployed, and Bay, we see double Vortex from Zero with the Hydrofang Dreadfin combo, and now we see the turn pass back. That's Scorchwing, and that was a big attack for 12 from Bay. Now 5 mana for Zero, taking a look at his options. 5 in hand. His opponent has 5 in hand. You, of course, need to get that Uga Chief off the battlefield. We see his own White Lily deployed, then the Baba. Rogorser with an attack for 11, just going face. Bay at 30. And with that Rogorser and the Baba, now both players have 12 attack on board. Maybe with Rogorser at 5, the all-important 5 health stat, Monkey not able to trade directly with it, so it would need some sort of other card, some sort of blessing. Instead, it's an Eagleon. It's just a massive mana boost there for Bay. Fontaria coming down. And Fontaria, nothing to attack. It could be a nice way to boost the health of the rest of Bay's champions, but nothing to attack. Instead, just the pass back to Zero on 6. Of course, having spent 5 mana last turn, only to be answered by the opponent's Eagleon for 2. There we see Nippa, and then an attack with Barry for 6. And then we see the pass back. We know that Zero has the the Rogorser in hand. Bay with 4 in hand blesses the Monkey. That's going to be 15. Okay. Plus the Eagleon is 17. Plus Fontaria is 20. So that could drop Zero to 20 or to 6. And with the Rogold, it looked like maybe Bay had the ability to attack Zero down to 1, but I think Bay worried that, and maybe rightly so, that Zero could kill on the crackback. What we're seeing is Nippa come down. That's an attack, and that is lethal. So it was, I believe, lethal either way, because, yeah, I believe Zero was at 9, so no matter there. We are playing best of 3. We're moving through game 1. This is game 2. Zero versus Bay, and Bay is up a game here. I am your host. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. We are watching ChampionsTCG Tournament Gen 1, Gen 2, free mode, no angel coverage, and we are bringing you the game action, beginning with this matchup between Zero and Bay. Let's start things off. We see Zero open things up with an Aquafluffle on 1. Now Bay, on the draw, gets that White Lily, that all-important White Lily. There, down it comes. Eagleon to return the Aquafluffle. I'm not sure I love that play. I think that Eagleon is so much more important as a value play later in the game. And just redeploying the Aquafluffle for 1, it's something you can do on any turn. But that is the decision of Bay. So Nippa instead coming down. That's a Vortex for 4. Nippa able to tangle with that Eaglon. Monkey comes down, but that does fog the Monkey and still dealt 4 damage. So still a very efficient use of 2 mana there for Zero. Instead, it's a double Nippa. Now the Aquafluffle rejoins the battlefield. That's partially why I didn't really love that Eaglon play. The Aquafluffle also just trades all day with that Eaglon due to the fact that it's carrying the Aegis Shield. Instead, it is a Eaglon to bounce the Aquafluffle again. So Bay really leaning on that bounce your Aquafluffle play. And now an attack for 5 after getting the blessing from the sheep. And now 4 mana from Zero, looking at 6 in hand, one of which is Aquafluffle. We know that. Down comes Furon. It is a misfired combustion. Boopa comes back, and that is a 2/2 with the shield. It is effectively an Aquafluffle with the normal element type, evolving into Woofa. Although I don't believe that Woofa is being played in Zero's list. I would be surprised. Shadow Seal comes down. Will maybe go and get Ignisteel. Grun deployed for Bay, and there we see the Eaglon attacking the Boopa Snoot off of the battlefield after the Baba was able to drop the shields. And Eaglon, having been blessed, now attacks the Firon down. Wow, and we see an attack from Ocho on the Grun. I do kind of like that play. It's just we've seen very few players make that play, especially when you're facing a Shadow Steel that you know is a clean kill. There's Flamigwakin. Of course, Sabermane did hatch out of that egg, and then Aquafluffle was shields down because of the Inferno. Sabermane takes it back, and then it looks like Zero's scooped, and Bay will be moving on to the finals. So in our finals matchup, we are looking for Bay Brodnik, and we are playing the Gen 1, Gen 2 mixed format, no angels, free mode. So all players able to play with all cards that belong in the game, as long as they aren't the 10 angels, each of which is a 9/9 for 5, save for 2, a 9/9 for 4. Sin and Purity are the 4 mana versions of that effect, and then the remaining ones each to their own element. The Earth is Dustrael, the Nature Floriana, the Wind Zephyria, the Ice is Crystallia, the Water is Aquavia, the Lightning is Voltarion, and the Death is Mortalis. And these cards are not allowed in the current version of the format due to the fact that we are playing the free mode of the cards, so we want to encourage a little bit more of diversity so that not everyone is just jamming their deck full of every angel you can put in there. We want to see a few more of the other cards from the set. All right, and we are waiting on Brodnik Bay. Players are taking a moment to shuffle up their games, their decks for tournament action, and we will take this moment just to thank you all for being a viewer on our stream. You've been helping our stream grow. We're getting some consistent, stronger views, stronger sharing, and this is helping us with our algorithms as the content for Champions TCG is being shared on wider platforms. So thank you very much. I'm your host, I'm Brett Banfi, and you can follow us on twitch.tv/ChampionsTCG for more great tournament action. And now we have our players, whoops. I think that was the wrong game. Yeah, our players have just joined the table, and let's jump in. Brodnik is at the bottom of the screen, and Bay had a Grun hatch. It hatched into Pinky Bank, And a pass back. Now we see Trolley attack the bank down, and Hydrofang join Brodnick's side, followed by a Scorchwing from Bay. It leaves the Hydrofang on the battlefield. 3 mana now for Brodnick. Looking at that board is an empty board, and Monkey Hydro gets in for 9. Passing back 6 for Bay. There's the attack. It is Uga on Monkey. Hydrofang can take the Uga out. 4 mana now for Brodnick. It is instead a Scorchwing, then a Hydrofang. The Scorchwing takes itself out, but also brings Uga along with it. Now we see Bay facing an attack, 4/9. He has a very vulnerable Hydrofang on the opposite side of the battlefield with 1 health, but so often in these tournament formats, it's harder to jam the deck with things like Fangs because of the open access you have to some of these powerful cards like Speedy, like Monkey. Instead, those cards come down and take out the opponent's Fangs, followed by a Soul Swimmer. So Brodnick did sleep up Soul Swimmer. It is one of the more powerful water cards, 9/7 with Vortex, and you don't know until you've tried it, but getting that 9/7 off the battlefield is quite difficult. One of the cards that can do it, we just saw the Uga Chief, but you notice that Bay is continually answering the difficult threats that Brodnick is presenting, and this is tournament-winning magic if you are Brodnick. You want your opponent spending their mana and their resources fending off your attack, as that gives you the advantage and the opportunity to slowly craft that attack until it is indefensible. And that's exactly what we see Brodnick doing here. He deploys one of the most powerful threats in the game, that is the Guard Angel. Many call it the Guard Angel as it is the only card, the best card with Guard. And just like that, Bay deploys his own Guard Angel and as well the Hydrofang. So now Bay takes an attack, 4/13, goes to 22. 3 mana left for Brodnick. His deck is basically pure gas. That will be Eagle-On. That will not bounce the Tree Guard because of the fact that Tree Guard has Guard, but it will get that Hydrofang and take it off the battlefield back into Bay's hand to be redeployed. Mechafly, that takes the Uga out, and then a big Scorchwing. It was it missed on the Tree Guard. It got the opponent's Eagle-On, and then Tree Guard cleans up the opponent's Guard. There we see Trolley come down. That's able to take the Tree Guard out on the opposite side, and now 6 to spend. We know, I believe, Uga is in Brodnick's hand because Bay did whirlwind it with the Mechafly. So we'll see. Instead, it is the Sandstalker, an attack for 9. And if you thought taking the Soul Swimmer out was hard, the Sandstalker is even harder. And there we see Flamingwalking does the job. It kills himself in the process. Now Shadow Steel to Windseek for Bay, and that is a Scorchwing from Brodnick. Now with 7 to deploy. Importantly, Bay, there's the Uga that we knew about. Bay now on 7. Mechafly not able to tangle with that Uga. This is game 1 of our finals coverage. Brodnick at the bottom of the screen, Bay at the top. Bay empty-handed, fully hellbent. Monkey, Speedy, Roglet. Roglet takes out Uga with combination attacks from Mechafly, and then Monkey and Speedy go into the face for Brodnick. Tree Guard coming down. That's not a rush attacker. It is a difficult to defeat attacker, but it does not get an attack in the turn it enters the play. So Bay gets one more draw step now, and Uga Chief, a very good draw. We're going to see likely Uga Chief and Speedy combine on the Guard. Then we will see the monkey take out the remaining of the guard, and that was very well played because by using Speedy to take out the jelly, you were able to preserve the Speedy with that 1 additional health. Now Bay representing an attack for 11 on the crackback. Brodnik at 1 takes his 9 mana turn, 2 in hand. 1 card we know is definitely not a rusher because, and it is a Grun. Likely that was the card that he did not deploy last turn. Wow, and he keeps a card in the hand. So Bay all the way down to 7, but now with an attack for 11. Wow. I don't know if I would have done that. I think you have to just leave that Grun. Because if your opponent has the Uga or something like that anyway, then it rushes no matter what. So why not just leave the Grun? It can't attack. If he has the tree guard or something like that, well, he doesn't. I guess he would draw a card. So in some ways that's okay. So Enchi coming down now. Rogel attacks for 5. Enchi bloomed Brodnik back to 33. Then it is a big Flamigwakin, so that is also not a rush card. Down comes an opposing Flamigwakin, still not a rush card, but it is an 8/7. There's the rush, and that is Fox Assassin. That is game 1 for Brodnik. Wow, a very exciting back and forth there. Both players playing extremely tight competitive Magic, and finally the unrelenting attack that has been coming from Brodnik all game long. It finally managed to get through for lethal, and we move on to game 2. So that game 2, that is still Brodnik Bay. This is our finals matchup today for this free to enter $50 daily tournament from ChampionsTCG. Thank you all for tuning in, for being a part of the ChampionsTCG community. We will bring you game 2 action. Brodnik Bay. Brodnik is up a game. Bay with his back against the wall, looking to even things out at a game apiece, and starts things off with a turn 1 Roglet. Turn 2 Scorchwing takes the Roglet and the White Lily out. Bay now on 6 in hand. 2 mana passes, and Shadow Steel goes and Windseeks. Could Windseek the Dracoferno if Brodnik plays it, but very likely does not. And now Bay. Many of the players playing Flamigwakin in place of Dracoferno. Bay with Mechafly returning the Shadow Steel. I don't really like that play because the Shadow Steel is a free draw again for your opponent. Instead, we see double Vortex. The Scorchwing attacks Bay for 4. Bay is at 45. We saw what happened last game. Brodnik immediately went on the attack. And yes, Bay gets to make these profitable attacks like that Mechafly on the Scorchwing. But, that may be too little too late. Uga comes down, attacks the Hydrofang. So Bay playing a little bit more of the defensive conservative approach. And Brodnik swinging with the sock full of quarters, just throwing everything he has at Bay. There comes a Vortex for 3. There comes an attack for 5. Yes, either one of these creatures can trade back, but instead it's Flamigwakin, and it does kill one of Brodnik's creatures. Mechafly eats the other, and now on a pass back with Bay having 14 power on the board, 6 mana for Brodnik. 2 goes to the monkey. That will take Flamigwakin out. Shadow Steel now, Windseeking, Uga still in play. That is the same Shadow Steel that Mechafly returned to Brodnik's hand. So it does give Bay this 1 quick tempo advantage. He uses that to evolve his Uga Chief from the Uga after getting an attack for 6. So Bay has almost managed to even the life totals here. Rogorser comes down, and now Uga Chief taking the Shadow Steel out. I almost would have liked to have seen it just ignore the Shadow Steel, go for face, put Brodnik on the back foot, force Brodnik to send his Shadow Steel in. But the problem with that is that it would have been able to take the Rogorser out. Fortunately, that Trolley now takes the Uga Chief out, due to the fact that the Uga Chief did take 5 damage. Flamigwakan comes down but doesn't get the trolley, although it does get the tree guard. That is an anomaly. Now we see Speedy take the trolley out and attack for 8. Flamigwakan survives at 4 health, and Speedy, due to the attack on the trolley, will remain alive at 3 health. 8 mana now for Brodnik. Looking at his hand, 6 cards. Bay at the top of the screen, Brodnik at the bottom of the screen. Brodnik is winning 1 game to none. And we see Brodnik taking a moment to plan this turn out. It will be an attack with the Uga Chief on the Flamigwakan. That's a signal that Brodnik feels that he is behind in this game. He would love to have that trolley back. It could potentially represent lethal on that Rogue Orser, but he does not have that in hand. Instead, he just passes back, leaving 2 mana unspent, and that feels like that could be a very bad sign if what you're doing on your turn is leaving your mana unspent while your opponent is pressuring your life total. You do use that 6 mana only to answer 1 Flamigwakan that already killed 2 of your opponent's creatures, and yet that is the position that Brodnik finds himself in this very important game 2 here. Now we see an attack. Sandstalker able to go toe for toe with Tree Guard. Not many creatures in the game can. Then we see the Eaglon come down. That gets a Whirlwind back on Bay. And now Hydrofang coming back down. Double Fang. Brodnik at 9. There's a Uga Chief. That is lethal. And now we see the players pushing the finals match to a game 3. And thank you very much for being with us. I'm Brett Banfi. I'm your host. You are tuned into ChampionsTCG live tournament coverage. We do this every single day, every weekend. I want to bring you the best and the brightest in this game and encourage you to join if you have not gotten started yet. It is ChampionsTCG.com. And if you are tuning in and just finding out about the stream and you want to learn how to play and get started, my name is Manifestable. Reach out to me, send me a message in the Discord. Let me know that you'd like to get started, and I will help you get started, get you a free pack of cards, and show you how to join our events. We have Brodnik waiting in the lobby for Bay. Bay taking a brief moment to reset, recalibrate. Players have sat down at the table. We are ready to bring you tournament action. Let's get started. All right, here. May rebuild this game lobby. And now we have done it. We're in. Okay. So Enchi from Brodnik on turn 1. We've seen players do this before. Again, I like the White Lily into 2-drop on turn 1. If I have a play on turn 2, if I'm passing on turn 2, then I don't like it. And we see a pass on turn 2 from Brodnik, so not my favorite play there. Getting started from Brodnik, certainly not the pace that we saw from him earlier in the game. He was able to exchange that White Lily for 3 damage on the Hydrofang. And that, I believe, is just not good enough when you're talking about the value that White Lily represents. Now turn 3 for Brodnik. He passes again on turn 3, and wow, we are seeing Bay immediately step into the driver's seat. Brodnik already down to 12, will take an attack for 13 and go to 35. There's an attack for an additional 3, now is at 32. Adds 4 power to the board, and guess what? That is an attack for an additional 4, now down to 28. Brodnik has played 1 card. It has been Enchi. He's used it to bloom the Enchi, and now facing his 4-mana turn is already below half of his life total. Uga comes down. That eats the monkey, but that is not enough. He's facing an attack back here for 20, 23 with that Baba's Blessing. And he's already at 28. This could be a kill on turn 4. And it is 28 plus 3. That's 25 plus 3. That's 28. Folks, that is a turn 4 kill from Bay. except I can't do math because it's not. Brodnik at 2 life. Looking at his 5-mana turn, he sees 4 lethal attackers on the opposite board. He's able to kill one of them with his Uga, evolve the Uga Chief, draw a card. Down comes Monkey, and then Hydro Fang, but that's not enough. This is a turn 5 kill. Ladies and gentlemen, I did the math this time. It's turn 5 kill. Folks, that's the conclusion of our event. I'm happy that you enjoyed this one. Thanks for being with us. This is going to be a victory for Bay. Bay is our winner. Congratulations, Bay, and Bay deserves it. A lot of people don't realize Bay is our tournament organizer, so he's the equivalent of me in Japan. He's the one who's doing all their events, all their coverage, all their tournament organizing. He's the one building out the program. I went out to Tokyo, Japan, and the reception that Champions TCG had out there was phenomenal. Everyone, it seemed, that I was talking to knew about the game. When I walked into a room, people were running over to meet me because I was involved with Champions TCG. I have to tell you, it felt surreal. It's totally bizarre that this game has exploded in popularity out there, and it's all because of one person, and that is Bay. That's who you saw just take down that tournament. So if anyone deserves it, we are here at Champions TCG. Bay, we appreciate you. We're thankful for all you do for the game, and we're glad that you got this victory. Hopefully you keep getting them. All right, guys, that is all we have for today. Thanks for tuning in with us. My name is Brett. I'm your host, and we do these every day. So if you want to get started, come on over to ChampionsTCG.com. Join the Discord, discord.gg/ChampionsTCG, and tag me with a message, Manifestable. I'll help you get started. Guys, see you.